And now, from the bowels of the internet, it's the Hate Bit Podcast.
All right, fuckers, the Hate Bit Podcast rides once more. Good day, I'm Yellkaos. Joining me as always, the ultimate Alpha Omega Sin.
Yeah, you know, Hollywood is actually remaking not only Escape from New York, but Poltergeist and Pet Sematary. Fuck you, Hollywood. Anyway, let's go on with the show.
And the only man who could pose for Calvin Klein if Calvin Klein designed for Satan, Razor Fist.
Fat booty hose.
Oh, yeah.
Woo! So come on and get on the hoe train from hell. Welcome to the Hate Bit Podcast. We thank each and every one of you for coming and, coming. We appreciate when you come. It's always fabulous.
We appreciate when you clean up after yourself using a sock like other gentlemen.
Absolutely. All kinds of gentlemen right here on the podcast. And but no sock is safe near the Hate Bit Podcast. I want you to know.
It's a very gentlemanly thing to do. You have to curl your mustache and then wear the bowler hat and then clean her off with the sock.
Yeah,
and that's just a classy way to do things.
And shout bully.
See, and tell me this is not an educational program.
I know.
So
I just want to put this out there to everybody listening. Doing the helicopter when your dick is erect is actually a lot more difficult than it might actually seem. So
and as you get up there in years, there's a number of people who vouch for this. It becomes a little more life-threatening with each time,
Only for all the people in the room.
The married men can vouch for that, because. Woo. Oh, don't forget to make the woo sound.
Woo!
I'll bet fucking Ric Flair did the helicopter and did the woo, and that's where the woo came from.
Yeah, and once you get over 60, it's a double blade helicopter. But yeah, anyway, so.
Whoa, now. Well, and once you get that way, yeah, one does tend to hang by. It's like a clock. Never mind. Anyway, moving straight ahead. Before we just totally reveal our age, we're going to jump right into the show. Like I said, we thank you for joining us, each and every one of you. I'd also like to remind anybody that today's program and the slurring of my speech is brought to you by the Stone Brewing Company. Just want to throw that out there. So if you're curious at any time throughout the show, you know that Chaos is kind of fucked up, but that's all right.
Because that's how you know. Unlike some other people, he holds his liquor.
That's right. Well, and I'm not from Britain, but that's not important. That's not important. What is important is that I have a proper gaming headset, and we're here to do this thing right here, right for you. Fans, you wouldn't believe this, but we've got news, amazingly. Special report, according to Sony, they expect the ongoing PlayStation 4 Scarcity to continue, as reported by, I don't know, some asshole who lies. So, I have to ask this question, because I'm a curious person, and I'll ask Razor Fist, because Razor Fist shops a lot. Razor Fist, what scarcity are they referring to?
I think it's the fictitious one they pulled right out of their ass, along with their journalistic credentials, actually. I have, on no less than 4 occasions, I've walked into Target, and I walked into Target 3 times and 1 time into Walmart. I have seen Xbox One and PS4 on the shelf every single time, with the exception of a couple times that I went back, just after they had launched, like a week after. But you understand that happening, right? Mm-hmm. I have never walked into a Target in the last, 2 months and not seen a PS4 on a shelf. So, here's the thing. I kind of said it in my light agreed upon rant a week or so ago,
which I enjoyed thoroughly, I must say.
Thank you. But it was basically just saying they're kind of trying to manufacture scarcity. Yeah. They really are not up to production. I mean, they certainly haven't hit full capacity as far as monthly production. I mean, for proportion, wasn't the Nintendo Wii for a while there were producing like almost 2 million consoles a month? If there was really,
like that.
Yeah, if this is really the fastest selling console of all time, why haven't they hit 2 million and above? They should be somewhere around there. But they're not. They're barely producing like 1.2 million a month or something like that.
Well, they can always pull out the minor details of this is the fastest selling PlayStation and the fastest selling system of this console gen and shit like that, so they can be like, we were telling the truth under this guise. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, it's just like, fuck. You really have to measure it by a monthly basis. Like, how much do they sell in a single month? Because I think 30 days is a pretty reasonable barometer, as it were, for, to say what the actual velocity of sales is. And simply put, it's not that impressive. It's not. I mean, it's definitely, they're doing well, and they had an amazing launch. They had the biggest launch of all time, no question. But fastest selling ever? Come on, the freaking Wii 5 years ago sold 5 million in a single month. You barely sold that much in 3. They have the official updated figure now, and we've got this straight from IGN, so we know it's true. Is 5.3 million that they've sold so far, and they just launched in Japan, so expect that number to jump up. But
slightly.
Well, I think in Japan, after Japan, they'll probably even out at 7 million.
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah, somewhere around there. Probably after the end of this month. Probably be somewhere sitting around 6.9.
Now, and let's take that for 1 second. Now, I think that seems reasonable, 7 million. But to put that into perspective, the Nintendo Wii U, which is right now considered a balls out fucking failure, has sold over 5 million units.
It's true.
So I don't understand this story.
Well, here's the
5.3 is a lot to Sony, but not to Nintendo. And don't give me that 1 year bullshit, because sales are sales.
People are saying that, though, and you got to understand that everybody is going to go and, no matter what, go and say, well, Nintendo is failing because they yada, yet they ignore, Nintendo, for example, several of their games within a very short time span on the Wii U sold over 1 million units without blinking an eye.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody kind of ignores that because it's easier to say, hey, this third-party company is not supporting them because bad news sells.
It's way more impressive to me that Wii U has sold 1 million units of certain games, because the PS4 and Xbox One are not pulling that off.
Has any of the titles available for either system managed to sell 1 million units yet?
I don't believe a single one has yet. I could be wrong.
We'd have to go with actual exclusive, exclusive to the systems, because every time that they pull in the figures...
Oh, well, that is true. It's true.
And they cheat. They have cheated on the figures, too. I know that when they were counting main sales, they did this thing, and it was totally coordinated. Correct me if I'm wrong. Alpha, when you bought the PS4, did you get Killzone Shadowfall for free with the system? Did you get that bundle through Best Buy?
I didn't actually go for any bundle. I bought the system, and then I bought 3 games, and that was pretty much it.
Well, when that game came out, they did a bundle, and from what I understand, because I have a friend who works at Best Buy, they didn't actually package Killzone Shadowfall in the console. Now, I'm getting this third hand, so understand if this is incorrect, blame the person I got it from. But I believe that what they did in order to, elevate the software sales of the PS4, and they may have done this for Xbox One as well, but I'm not sure. They did not package Killzone Shadowfall with the machine. They just sold it to you separately and then zeroed out the transactions, so it technically counted as a sale.
Yeah, the companies have been doing that for a while, and I always think that's a crock of shit, because I think that anything that's bundled with a system shouldn't count as an individual sale for that title. Because that's something like, what the fuck is it? We Play. That one, everybody bought it because it was a fucking cheap remote.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why everybody was buying it. And that's like saying, oh, Wii Sports is #1 selling game of all time. I'm like, that makes no fucking sense. It came with the system.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Super Mario Galaxy is your best-selling Wii game of all time. Yeah. Let's not lie here.
Also, don't forget, the SKUs changed throughout time. Look back to the NES. A lot of the sales figures for Super Mario Bros. 3 were thanks to it being packed in with the control deck.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's not neglect. That's nothing new. That's been going on for some time.
Oh, no. It's been going on for a long time. But the reason why it's significant that Sony cheated, quote-unquote, on their sales figures a little bit is that even with that cheating or so forth, they actually saw a over 21% drop in software sales this past holiday season. I mean, across all companies. 21% drop in software sales. So even though they're counting games that are bundled with these consoles, and even though we're saying these are the biggest launches of all time because they are, something doesn't add up. There's a 21% drop in software sales, even though you're counting these games that are bundled with the consoles as software sales. So how? And
you notice everyone complains about no news around the holidays, and everyone conveniently ignored that.
Oh, completely ignored it, and it was like buried in other articles and stuff. It was just not a headline at all, and people wrote it off. I remember they talked about it a little bit on the bonus round on Game Failers, and they said, "Oh, it doesn't matter because it just depressed the new consoles that launched depressed game sales." It's like, I don't really buy it when you're counting games that are packaged.
Yeah, but like, what was your excuse last year?
Yeah, no, that's always their excuse. It's always their excuse.
Even though there was no new hardware coming out last year, because as I've heard, Nintendo doesn't count apparently. So whatever, if the case may be. My big question is the lie that's in place right now. Who is going to benefit from this? Because this seems to me like what you would do if you were trying to get into porn by lying about the size of your penis. Like, they're gonna find out eventually.
I don't know.
That's not something you can cover up. The whole point is of taking it off.
Yeah. The thing what's more weird about it is we're currently in a day and age where it's damn near part of the marketing to go and bring up these sales figures, because this actually drives interest and this drives tons of fucking dumb bullshit arguments and keeps it relevant. Because how many times have you sat there and overheard somebody talk about, the relevancy of a system is based purely upon the numbers, or the random game franchise or individual title is only good because it sold X amount of copies, or that's why it was better than said other product that was competing directly with it. And this is something that all the companies eventually they want to and borderline need to lie now. And it's fucking retarded, because it's like, look, you sold over 5 million fucking units with a kind of a shit library. And again, coming from somebody who owns one, but it's that's still like an impressive feat. But for them to have to lie about software fucking sales is just silly bullshit.
It is.
Well, that stuff always. What really strikes me as odd, though, is sorry, I've been drinking.
This awkward pause brought
I just like the big sigh you let out. You're like, what strikes me as odd?
Exactly. It's like, I became depressed, and it wasn't even the alcohol doing it.
I know, it was like Buzz Killington just
absolutely totally just destroyed the mode and everything.
Who would like to hear a good story about a bridge?
Well, that's good. I would like to as well. You continue. Your turn to tell the story about the bridge. No, I completely lost my point. Fuck them. That's my.
Okay, here, how about this? I'm going to tell you a good story about a bridge.
You have to pick up this.
I am literally Buzz Killington. Fuck this shit.
What do you call the middle of a song?
Here, in Pittsburgh right now, we have so many bridges in Pittsburgh. This is kind of shit that happens. We have a bridge that they actually have netting that is connected to the bottom of it to catch all of the debris that is falling off of the bridge because it's coming apart. And then when that wasn't holding it, they built a miniature overpass underneath this bridge to make sure that the extra large chunks of concrete and all the other shit, or rebar and stuff, did not go and crash down onto the cars. So it's that's Pittsburgh, and we have potholes big enough that you could actually just park your car inside of it, and that's really it.
Steel City, baby. I'm proud to be an American.
Oh yeah, no, I fucking love Pittsburgh. And Ohio, doesn't Ohio have a few bridges like that too?
It's weird though, because it's like, I mean,
there government buildings like that.
Yeah, it's just so fucking odd though, because around here we have like 8 billion bridges. Like Italy has more than us, and that's it. Like, like that's the only place that has more. And I'm not even shitting you. Like, it's really
Along with pedophilia, but yeah.
And Ragu and Prego, but yeah, and Prego, haha, that actually worked. But yeah, overall, so yeah, back on points. Buzz Killington just wants to tell you about motherfucking Bridges and motherfucking Pittsburgh.
Yeah, life would be great if Sony made tomato sauce, but they don't. What they do is they manufacture game consoles, and then they manufacture figures to go along with them.
Yeah, and then IGN manufactures stories that are full of manufactured.
Here, you know what? I actually want to throw something.
Our economy is dead. We got people manufacturing shit left and right.
I'd like. Razor Fist was absolutely on point when he said you can go into a store and find PS4s and Xbox Ones, because I've been able to see that too. But the one thing that you cannot find, but I did find it, it was like a shiny, super ultra rare Pokemon. And seeing this, like my eyes lit up, and then I just started laughing, was watching a dude actually walk to a register holding an Ouya. I began cackling like a fucking... I'm like... I'm dying, just sitting there, like, I'm pointing and laughing, my arms just going across the entire aisleway. I'm like, look at that, it's real.
Oh,
It's like
idiot.
I was just like, it was like seeing the fucking Bigfoot with all the Jack's beef jerky and shit, like, in person, and I'm like, look, I found Bigfoot, and he's actually stereotyping himself. This is so awesome. Oh, it's great. And tumbleweeds went by.
He eats emerald nuts.
It was just, it was so fucking weird. But yeah, and Ouyas, they usually stock like 2 per store.
I know,
and I think that's overstocked, by the way.
Isn't that funny? You can find more PlayStation 4s than Ouyas.
Yeah, it's like I'm absolutely fucking.
Maybe the Ouya is actually the king of this generation. Maybe that's what's going on. They're just,
well,
you can't
because
find
it's the one that's actually going to be able to have a price that'll let it move.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. It can't move that much because I reach into my pocket and I'm like, look, I have an Android phone. I have an Ouya. And I have a 360 controller.
Do you do that? Do you like, get your phone on the side, stare at the Ouya and say, I got you, motherfucker?
No, I'd actually have to go near it and give a shit it exists. So that would be...
It's a shame. People, in a few years, people are going to be talking about the Ouya the way people talk now about the Gamescom.
Yeah. It's
I thought you were going to go with the Sega 32X, actually.
I don't know. The 32X at least had a really good copy of Afterburner, so that's kind of awesome.
I cannot believe that's all you could say in all your years of gaming. That's the one thing you could say. It had really good Afterburner.
Hey, that's
like...
Oh, no,
it had... Hey, 32X. 32X did have some good games. It
did. I'm not taking that away from it, but...
X-Wing, it had Star Wars Arcade. I mean, come on.
It did. Okay, great. And it had the... Did it have the superior... It had the superior version of Virtua Racing.
Yeah.
And
some other things.
And some things, and some software, apparently. Which is good. But the Ouya... Now, the Ouya...
Doom on 32X was also pretty good.
Was it?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because you think you remember that, or...
No, seriously, it's really not that bad.
And Subterranea was a...
I love how you went from it's good to it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Well, because
the only really, really bad Sega peripheral that I remember, or at least the only really, really bad Genesis peripheral I remember was the Sega CD. I didn't use that much, even though Snatcher was on it. But that's it. That's the only reason you would ever own Sega.
Well, the Sega CD was greit if you wanted to play PC games for twice what you could pay for them on PC.
You were completely forgetting about that one thing. It's oh god, that motion detector thing for fighting games.
Are you talking about this? The Sega Interactor?
Yeah,
is that it? Yeah, that
Interactor.
Okay, you may talk shit on the Sega CD.
No, wait, no. Sorry, we're actually confusing. It's the Aura Interactor was the vest that did the rumble.
You mean the speaker inside the backpack?
We're thinking of the Sega Activator.
Yeah,
the Activator. That's right. Thank you for clarifying that, Mr. Fist.
That thing was an abomination. They're like, yeah, it's compatible with fighting games. I'm like, so's the D-pad on every Sega controller, so fuck you. Fucking numbskulls, man.
I just love how that peripheral was my favorite because it assumed that video game players were physically fit.
Yes.
Like, all your classic missteps, that one.
Yep. Yep.
But anyway, speaking of the Ouya, which, speaking of other gimmicky shit, as a matter of fact, I don't find the Oculus Rift even remotely interesting. And I'm going to tell you why. Because
Shots fired.
over the last week or so, what's been making the rounds is somebody rendered the Legend of Zelda, the original NES classic, The Legend of Zelda, for the Oculus Rift in first-person perspective. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and now, mind you, this may have just been to show me the technology, but I don't find it that compelling. This is technology I was promised when I was like in third grade, and I imagine this would be about interesting to third graders.
Yep.
Mr. Fist, you're the expert on gimmicky shit. You tell me. No one knows about more gimmicky shit than our very own Mr. Fist.
No, man. I you know what? I'll just say what I said in my vlog. I think it still holds true. Every peripheral, every shitty peripheral. Let's say that. Although here's the thing: like, how easy is it to think of a good peripheral? I mean, let's be real.
How much time you got? The Power Glove is so bad.
And the Gun Con, yeah.
That's okay. Yeah. No. The NES Zapper. And
Sega Master System Light Phaser.
I kind of liked that bazooka on the SNES thing.
The scope.
Yeah, the Super Scope.
Dude, the Gun Con. The Gun Con's like the most accurate gun that they have for systems.
Even though there were only like 2 games for the Super Scope.
No, there was like 6 games.
Yeah.
A whole bunch,
The way I look at it, peripherals, the Oculus Rift.
The Miracle Piano. Bam.
The Oculus Rift, the Kinect, the PlayStation Move. Oh, remember that, guys?
You mean the
button?
button?
They're like a bad girlfriend. They're like a bad girlfriend who is a fucking demon in the sack, right? It's a gimmick. It'll always be a gimmick. You know it's wrong. You're certain that you're going to regret it. But no matter how many times you wake up the following morning with, the taste of dirty fish in your mouth, you freaking pissing Tabasco sauce, you just can't bring yourself to delete the bitch from your phone.
This is a very graphic retelling. Has this happened recently?
There are some times where you just accidentally call because you're bored, and then you just regret it.
Or because you were drinking on your podcast, things like that.
And to make this analogy work, sometimes you're just that bored and you go into the closet, dust off something real shitty, and you're like, all right, fine, I'll use the one game you're compatible with. So, yeah. And it's like saying, you know what, I'll use you for the one thing you were useful for, your twat.
Oh, but that's basically what I mean. You always know when these peripherals come out. Yeah, this will be sitting in my closet in a few weeks, even if it's good.
Well, you don't always know it. If you wouldn't, nobody would have fucking bought them.
But that's the thing. They should always know it. That's what I'm suggesting here. I think they should. Like, because even when a peripheral's really, really good, it winds up kind of playing itself out anyways. You know what I mean? There really hasn't been a peripheral yet where it's like, well, fuck, after that came out, no one didn't have one on their console. Like, even like Wii Motion Plus on the Wii, which is, I mean, it's such a common sense upgrade. A lot of people don't even use that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, these peripherals a lot of times just kind of sit there after you're done with them. So, I don't know. But anyways, it just seems like a situation where it's always going to end in disappointment, even if it's good. So at the end of the day, you should just... And the thing is, with the Oculus Rift, what have they really innovated at this point? They got head tracking. It's essentially the same thing as the VR kiosks from the early 90s and late 80s. Except now you got head tracking.
You could possibly afford it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that. We don't really know the price yet.
That's the toughest part.
Yeah, we do know it's got head tracking and the graphics are slightly better. Those are its innovations. I mean, really, guys, that's your future? Really? And you're gonna graft a toaster to the front of your fucking face for this? Like, seriously? What the fuck?
The Oculus Rift is going to be one of those things that ends up getting used a lot more outside of gaming than it is for gaming itself.
Yeah.
And look at the Kinect. The Kinect is the prime example of amazing technology that game developers don't feel like really working with, and most gamers aren't willing to put down their controller or their mouse and keyboard to just get up and start doing shit. And as a matter of fact, like thinking about the Oculus Rift, if you took 2 Kinect cameras, one on the front, one in front of you, one from behind, put on the Oculus Rift, and you had a big open room, that would be kind of cool. But the thing is, that is a very rare situation, and who the fuck is ideally, like, who are you selling this to, you know? Like, that's just too many different things to put together. Sorry if you heard coughing, my brother's dying. But anyway, yeah. I don't know. Oculus, it's for too small of a market. Gaming-wise, at least.
Well, that never stopped the Neo Geo people.
Or the 3DO people.
Or the 3D people.
But no, the Oculus Rift, seriously, it's really going to be something just outside of gaming. It'll probably boom. Like, I can imagine surgeons using that, for example. And that sounds kind of random, but I can really see that being useful in a lot of ways that just, if people look at it, they're like, man, that'd be really cool with this game. And it's like, okay, are you going to buy and use it with all those games? No, eventually you're going to put it down and play it the way you normally do. And everybody that supports it eventually will end up doing it. Everybody liked the idea of the Kinect, and once they used it once or twice, they were done. I mean, these things have a fucking short shelf life because we're kind of already used to how things work, and it still works just fine. So, oh well. Sucks for them, I guess.
Not to mention, a lot of that stuff still assumes that the gaming audience is physically fit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even the people that are physically fit, I mean, okay, I work out, I'm in just fine a shape. Do I want to get up and move around? No, I want to fucking control
totally. No, it's really just a matter of convenience. I mean, physically fit people want convenience too. Yep. Like who in the fuck, if you were given a choice right now, hey, do you want to use a fucking can opener to open this can of SpaghettiOs, or do you want to use a fucking laser and it'll just instantly fucking cut the thing off and you just have to push a button? Like, it doesn't matter if you're fucking Mr. Universe, you're gonna pick the second one, right? Not only because it's convenient, but because of goddamn lasers.
Dude, fuck
right?
it. I'm gonna be like Popeye, and I'm gonna squeeze the can, and all the SpaghettiOs jump up out of the can and into my mouth, or just all over my face like a bad porn.
Well, you forget a general rule of kids who were born in the 1990s. Goddamn lasers trumps everything.
Goddamn lasers and goddamn ninjas every time.
And ninjas with laser swords? What do you do then?
Exactly.
You watch in amazement. What the fuck would you do?
Well, I'd end up getting chopped to pieces while watching in amazement. Like, this was such a cool death.
Well, I'd be watching this from bleachers, okay? You go and challenge fucking laser-wielding ninjas, that's your fucking problem.
Challenging these ninjas suddenly. I was hanging out. I just assumed the ninjas are there to kill me.
Yep.
Well, see, and that's exactly why we have this era of intolerance. You know, you Irish people really need to get this through your brain that not everyone's against you.
Yeah, huh?
God damn it.
Still, no,
By the way, we'd like everyone to know that political correctness is very important to the Hate Bit podcast. And furthermore, fuck you.
Okay, but so basically, I can assume that everybody on the Hate Bit podcast just doesn't give a damn about the Oculus Rift.
I wouldn't say that I don't give a damn. I just don't see how this is the future.
Yeah, I don't see it being.
I'm sure there's a handful of games that this would really work out really nicely for, but it looks, from what I've seen, it looks really expensive.
Yeah.
It really. I mean, it's now. I'm gonna like make everyone show their age. Remember VR Troopers?
Yes.
We were actually assholes head on. It looks like that. It looks like it's expensive and would pull your face forward.
We are VR.
Seems like the sort of thing that if you left it on too long, it would make your forehead slope forward.
Well, that might be appropriate.
Yeah, there's a lot of people already have that problem, and they think it's normal. So
I know, but you know, then we're gonna have like aliens and shit.
Well, but no, we kind of still have that problem. Like, a lot of, like, little kids are fucking ugly. So it's just...
Well, I know. I mean, well, you're a parent. You get to hang out with kids. They're fucking terrible, aren't they?
Well, he looks and acts just like me, so yes.
Oh, well,
it's true. It's just like, I was a hyperactive little demon, so he is too. It's fantastic to a degree.
Yeah, well, you know, it's amazing to me. Like, people ask Mrs. Yellkaos and myself why we don't have any children. It's like, have you ever seen anything in its larval stage?
And just be like me, get him all hyperactive on a bunch of shit, then drop him back off to his mom. It's great.
I know, but I could take you to an insurance seminar and you'd have a great time, so that's not really a good example.
Seriously, no, anything in its larval stage. Everybody wants to talk about kittens and how kittens are so cute. Yeah, kittens are cute after they grow to a certain point. When they first pop out of that bitch, man,
they're trying to scratch your fucking eyes out.
They try to scratch your eyes out, and all they do 24 hours a day is meow, 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 meow. It never stops.
Yeah, and if you try to console them, they're looking for bullshit. They want to cut you.
The best part is
my dick.
Both of my cats are in the game room right now with me.
Yeah, they know what they did.
And they're plotting your demise. They are plotting your demise right now. They're saying, "Okay,
they will suffocate you if you ever pass out on your back."
I was gonna say they're both sleeping. Like I'm sitting here. I'm just hold on.
That's why you feed them. You're not pleasing them. You're trying to appease them so they don't murder you.
You think they're sleeping? They're plotting.
Well, I did just try to call both of them, and Loki woke up and looked at me, then went back to sleep, and Navi is slowly going back to sleep. Like her eyes are slowly.
So what you've done, you fed them into a coma. Good for you. Good man. You're thinking ahead.
Damn straight.
But
well, you should say to Navi, hey, listen.
Yeah,
hey.
Dude, we've actually done that. Just picked her up and just like annoyed her, like kept on poking at her. Sometimes she'll like paw back at you, which is cute and funny in its own way.
Yeah, until you realize what she's trying to do.
Oh no, she never has claws out, so it makes me happy. So I know that she doesn't.
Well, so she doesn't give a shit enough about you to use claws. You're just like, here, I'm gonna bat you.
Yeah, stop that.
Stop it. You're a dick.
Keeps bopping me. Bop, bop, bop.
I still have no idea how I don't own a cat named Jean-Claude Van Damme. I have no idea. No fucking clue.
I would like to have a cat named Dr. Claw.
I'm surprised you don't own a bulldog named Winston, too, so.
Yeah, it's true.
But anyway. I was going to try and make some sort of a lewd connection with vaginas and pussies and cats and shit, but it's time for the video game circle jerk. And that's when we talk about the video games we've been playing, because we've been getting lots of questions, both on the Facebook and in the hate bit email. So, and also, if you're so inclined, please shoot us some questions. No one's shot us so many questions in a little while, probably because you're all a bunch of fucking assholes. And see, that's exactly why they don't even want me on this show. But that's all right, doesn't matter. Alpha Omega Sin, you suggested it, so you get to start this one up. What have you been playing?
Yeah. Alrighty. Man, what the fuck haven't I been playing is a better question. Okay, first thing, because I'm still in the middle of it, is a game called Trigger Happy Havoc. It's on the Vita, yes. I am one of 8 people. So, since I've been playing this, it's kind of take Battle Royale, then take Phoenix Wright, and then smash them together. And that's kind of what you get. I guess splash some Persona 4 in there for the fuck of it, and I don't know, it's just a kind of really morbid game where it's a whodunit type mystery, but you're living through it. It also reminds me of 999 on the DS for all the 10 people that ever played that. But it's a good game. I like murder mystery type stuff. I forgot what they call them, like graphic novel adventures or some shit like that. But I just always thought those were kind of cool. Let's see. Beyond playing just that, Killer...
Well, you've been playing all the killer apps on the PS4, right?
I was playing Outlast.
Yeah.
That game is pretty fucking badass.
You played Killzone?
Killzone, I don't know.
You played that Knack game. Yeah, that's right.
Knack just disappointed the shit out of me, and somebody might be like, oh, because the reviews, right? No, for completely different reasons, as a matter of fact. Knack should have been a lot better of a game. You can tell they rushed it. They rushed to get it out in time for launch, and it was a really dumb idea because it's, I play lots of platforming games. Knack can't deliver what they have done.
It looks like a half-assed just like a half-assed 3D platformer, like something like one of Rare's not so good games.
Kinda, yeah, and that's honestly being nice to it. It's a shame, because it's something you can see that it could have been a really great game, and it's just not. And
because I've been to Best Buy and I've seen people play that game, and they just look mad.
Oh, it's understandable. It's very easy to die in the game. It's got the most boring as fuck level design I have seen in a game in recent memory. It's actually like criminal. But Outlast, on the other hand, is essentially take Condemned and never give you a fucking weapon. Just run and get the fuck out of there because they are gonna kill you. And that's what I liked about the game. It didn't overstay its welcome because that's what I was expecting. Was this going to be like a 10 or 12-hour game? And it's one of the few times that I didn't want a game to last long because that kind of a premise will just weigh down on you very quickly. And yeah, it's good. And I also did not see the end coming. Not going to go and tell anybody yet, but yeah, it's worth playing through. And PlayStation Plus, it was fucking free to download. So I'm like, okay, sure. Killer is Dead, going and fucking about through that game. It's a lot like all the other hack and slash Suda51 games. So if you played Lollipop Chainsaw, if you played No More Heroes, then you know what to expect. It's fun, not perfect, but it's fun definitely, and visually it's always super appealing. Super Mario 3D World, I still have not completed that because I was only trying to play it when I was recording, so that made it difficult. But that's like one of the best games on the Wii U, hands down. It's just a damn fun game. But
haven't gotten your hands on Tropical Freeze?
I haven't. I'm actually behind on playing stuff on my Wii U in general. Like I got Wonderful 101 and haven't really gone to like get into it because I have a backlog of shit that's just fucking amazingly huge. But that game is, everybody I know that's played it has liked it. All the preview videos for it look amazing, and I really like Donkey Kong Country Returns. Like a lot of people before it came out said, "Oh, it's not going to be as good because Rare's not working on it," as if Rare made every single Donkey Kong game, and I guess they forgot about Donkey Kong 64. So,
and as though Rare never made any shit, which is totally untrue.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm just like, just so you know, there's a lot of competent developers out there that could take Donkey Kong and make an amazing game out of it, and that's what happened. And yeah,
and there's a lot of shitty Rare games.
Grabbed by the ghoulies. I always think about that, and I'm like, why did you do that? What a fucking complete clusterfuck. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on my end. There's other games, but I'll be sitting here for ages because it's been a while since we did one. But yeah, those games. I have good things to say and words and shit.
Well, that's important. Okay, I guess I'll take the ball. I'm gonna dribble the ball a little bit and dribbling everything else, so I might as well. For me, over on the Wii U front, I've been playing a lot of the Wonderful 101, and I'm actually having a very interesting time with it because I didn't know what to expect. I, like a lot of people, thought, oh, Pikmin with superheroes, and it's not that way at all. It's a very different kind of game, and it's really something else. And for those of you asking me which mission I'm on, I don't fucking know. It's that game moves so goddamn fast. I just know that I'm somewhere before a cutscene.
I like the boss battles in that game.
You like the what now?
The boss battles in that game.
The boss battles, because they just come out of nowhere. They're fantastic.
I like them because they're huge and
everything looks like it's out of RoboCop.
Yeah, it's oh god, don't say RoboCop. Now I think about
don't you start with that fucking RoboCop shit. You leave it out. I was just trying to be playful.
But you said it.
No, don't blame this shit on me. You're the one that's bringing it up on the fucking Facebook. I saw you.
It's terrible. It's PG-13.
Well, that's what happens when you try to turn dry political satires into action movies.
PG-13.
But anyway, and over on the 3DS, on the Nintendo 3DS, I'm having a real good time with Steel Diver Sub Wars. Have you checked this one out, Alpha Omega? Alpha?
Sorry, for some reason my fucking mic was center being retarded. Anyway, so no, I have not. I'm just like hello. So no, I haven't gone to. As a matter of fact, I'm still fucking playing through Pokemon and trying to get through Luigi's Mansion.
Still?
But dude,
you are slipping in your old age.
Nah, it's just because I've since I got the Vita, now I have two handhelds that I have to sit there and play, so I can only give so much time.
Don't sit here and pretend like there's fucking games on the Vita. What else are you doing?
I was playing Trigger Happy Havoc.
Gonna lie to me to my face with your bare face hanging out saying you got games on the Vita, you lie.
I do though. I swear. That was like one of my birthday presents.
All right, whatever. Wait a minute, fuck, it's my turn.
Yeah.
God damn it, I was about to lean back and let you have it. Fuck that shit. So, Steel Diver Sub-Wars is a fantastic game, and what I've really grown tired of already is all the reviews. Everyone thinks they can fucking review a game with numbers and then just walk away.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not a review. That shows that you're a lazy-ass person with no sort of... You can't judge things. Like, oh, I gave it a 7.5. Well, why? The point is, I give it about an 8, actually. It's a great experience, and it's the first-person, shooting type game that I can say I honestly give a shit about. It's great, and from what my best research indicates, it does take place on the planet of Corneria. If you know what that means, you're probably fucking old.
First-person game you could... Now, come on. You had an N64 like the rest of the cool kids. You had to have enjoyed Perfect Dark or GoldenEye.
I didn't say I played them. I didn't say I enjoyed them because I got my ass handed to them because all anyone wanted to play was fucking multiplayer. Multiplayer can suck my left nut and my right nut, but in that order.
Hey, the one-player mode in both those games was actually really
And I wasn't any good at it. I got better as an adult, but I don't have fond memories of it. Why are you taking away from my time with the Circle Jerk?
Sorry.
Damn it. And I'm also playing the Williams Pinball Collection on the Nintendo Wii. And I shouldn't neglect to mention that we've been using the PlayStation 3. Great system right there. We use it to watch Toy Story. And we look at Netflix on a regular basis. Razor Fist, what are you? What have you been playing with your machines?
Okay. Sorry. Did you throw it to me? I apologize.
Yeah. Go ahead. You have.
Okay. I have been playing less a game and more the distilled essence of utter batshit game by the name of Earth Defense Force 2025.
Bravo.
This game, I am 60-something missions in, and I still feel like this game has a ways to go. This game isn't even full. It cost $50, this game, and I am 60-something missions in. It's like it's like Metal Gear Solid 5 on opposite day. I can't believe this shit. But enjoying the fuck out of it. Going to release a review of it pretty soon here. But yeah, definitely enjoying it a lot. I played the first, well, it wasn't technically the first because the series has been going on since the PS2. But Earth Defense Force 2017 for the Xbox 360 I played. If you need a co-op game that's like, if you like split screen and you want like some classic old school just split screen multiplayer, just shooting giant fucking monsters and kaiju robots and fucking dude, one of the weapons in this game is a giant fucking fist, and it shoots out like 20 yards in front of you, this thing. And it kills just about anything in one hit. You can literally punch a giant robot with this fucking... You can punch airplanes out of the sky. It's unbelievable. I literally have punched buildings down. I don't even know how to describe this game.
I love it. It makes me think of Rampage.
Oh, you have to play. It is actually, you know what? Very similar to Rampage in a way. Because you have destructible environments. It's completely open world. You're surrounded by these giant monsters.
Dude, that's like King of Monsters now. Dude,
it's great. It's absolutely great. Giant ants from outer space and giant spiders and shit. And then fucking there's dragons all of a sudden and spaceships. And it's just madness. It's fucking madness. And there's all these different character classes and you get to customize your character. And it really is the best Earth Defense Force game so far, and that's saying something because the other games were pretty fucking good. And it's so fucking camp. The voice acting is ridiculous. It's like taken from like a bad English dub of a Japanese monster movie from the 60s. It's just fucking great. But yeah, that's what I've been kicking around lately. I've also been doing a little bit of PC gaming, a little bit of indie gaming, fucking around with the cat lady, fucking around with the I actually have all of the Wing Commander games, and I've been going through in sequential order. I'm on Wing Commander 2 right now, which is fucking amazing. I love all these games. They're fantastic. Also been playing, finally got around to doing the DLC on Skyrim, the Dawn Guard DLC, which holy fuck is it glitchy. But, man, seriously, this is like the only DLC I know that is so broken and glitchy, it actually breaks content that isn't included on the DLC. It breaks the game proper. Like, if you start quests the wrong way, you can perma-fuck them so you can't actually complete them and shit. Like, oh, man, it's fucked. It's really fucked. But, I mean, it's fun. You get crossbows and whatnot, but that's about all I can say in its favor. But, yeah, that's about all I've been fucking around with.
I love that. They crossbows and shit, you know.
You do well. It's cool. You know, they should have had crossbows in this game to begin with. I don't know why they didn't, but whatever.
But hey, here we are, and that's what's important.
I'm gonna be lame and throw out 2 other things because I forgot about them. Far Cry 3. Damn it, I want 100% complete that game. I just need to do the co-op missions. Just saying. And this guy at D2. I was so hyped up for it, and it pales in comparison in every single way except for gameplay to the original. So. Yeah.
Oh, and I forgot a game, too. I forgot Saturday Night Slam Masters on the Super Nintendo.
Have either of you guys fucked around with Bravely Default?
I played the demo, and I was completely underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Everybody keeps on telling me it's like the second coming of RPG Christ, and I've yet to be able to play it.
Don't you mean RPG Jesus?
Yeah, that actually was
To me, the name was just a tip-off. It is a completely default RPG from like 1996, and it's I guess it's Bravely Default because
like we had the balls to not change anything.
Yeah,
good for you.
Exactly, it's basically what it is.
Well, you know, I mean, Square Enix, I don't know. Don't forget, these are the people that love to announce announcements, and when they got an actual game coming out, you know.
It's a fact.
They take an entire console generation to make a game and then say it'll come out next gen and now it's called this. Yeah. And you still don't know if it's really happening.
And for a teaser for the future, I am getting a hold of Thief to review. So that's going to be one. Rocking the next
brand new Thief? You mean the one that you could do with your eyes closed?
Yeah.
You know what you should do? You should film a video of you doing it with your fucking sunglasses on.
Yeah. No, you could probably close your eyes, and it would still be too bright, this fucking game.
I know, and then you wouldn't even need the Oculus Rift or anything.
No, I didn't know Oculus Rift. None.
See, it'll work out great for everybody. Speaking of people that need to be out of work, Irrational Games has closed. Did you hear about this? The Bioshock people? Yes. And Razorfist, my good friend Razorfist, he's right there. You can see him right there on your screen. He feels that this was premeditated. And Razorfist, lay this on me because I really like the theory that you had going.
Well, look, I think it's a culmination of 2 different things. I think number one, Ken Levine is obviously sick of AAA games. He's given speeches about it. He's talked about it at conferences. He thinks games cost too much to make now, and he's fucking right. I mean, can any of us say that games should be $200 million to make at this point?
I can't think of anything that should cost $200 million.
Seriously, James Cameron's films come in at less than that. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm kidding. Wasn't Avatar like $200 million to make?
Something like that. Yeah.
Fuck. But yeah, that whole situation. But so I think it's that. I think it's Ken Levine himself getting sick of having to compromise his creative vision for the exigencies of commerce. I think that's one of the parts of it. But the other part is they closed down 2K Marin, which was one of the spin-offs of Irrational Studios. Closed them down not too long ago. This was like October. And it just seemed like 2K were making overtures. There were rumors within the company that Irrational may have been closed and whatnot, and then we kind of heard at the 11th hour, oh, they're not really closed. It just seems like 2K wanted to close the sumbitches, which is, I don't really, I think at the end of the day, it may just be that 2K wanted, they want to get rid of Irrational because they're uppity little bitches who want their creative freedom, at least in their eyes. In their eyes, that's what they are. But in a practical sense, they want the fucking Bioshock license because look how fucking much money it's made, right? It made a ton of money. Fucking GTA 5 came out around the same time Bioshock Infinite did, and Bioshock Infinite still sold a bunch of units. I mean, that says something about the strength of your IP right there, especially when Assassin's Creed 4 and shit wound up not meeting their sales goals. You know what I mean? Because
that's the reasons why this threw a lot of people for a loop is you don't have a game that gets that many awards and does that well in sales, and nobody really has anything bad to say about it, and then you just shut down the studio suddenly.
Yeah.
There's obviously something else to it, which, yeah.
Yeah, no, clearly. It's kind of, it kind of reminds me of the Jim Ross situation with WWE, where he retired, but he retired after a drunken tirade at a fucking, public event.
Yeah, and after he tried to resign how many times before?
Yeah, it just, you don't buy, oh yeah, he retired from it, but he's going to pop up and talk about wrestling every other day, right? Because he's totally done. Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's just stop insulting my intelligence. It's just kind of two different factors. Ken Levine not wanting to do, and it sounds like Irrational is still going to be around. They're just going to be a much smaller studio, which is probably for the best because they will compromise a lot less. And it's kind of terrifying, frankly. It's like the bigger a team gets, the less content we actually get in the game. Right? Am I wrong? I mean, because, I'm playing Skyrim, for example, the fucking DLC I just talked about. The team on that game had to be over 200, if not more. It was a huge fucking team, probably the biggest Bethesda team they've ever had. And yet, I also played Morrowind not too long ago. Morrowind was made with a team of 60 fucking people. And that game's 5 times as large. It's got way more. There's fucking character attributes in it and all these different features. There's tons of places to explore. The world is fucking huge. Not quite as big as Skyrim, but, fucking hardware limitations. It's less. You do more with less, ultimately. It's because you don't have to compromise your vision, because there's more central focus.
This is also something kind of scary to go and think about in a way, because, I mean, look at a lot of other studios out there that are kind of fearing for their jobs to go and see a AAA team like this get the axe out of nowhere. And they didn't just cut, half a team or something like that. They basically took them all out at the fucking kneecaps and kept 15. And they said they specifically had people in mind that they wanted to keep, and it's just it's unnerving to think about because there's so many people out there who are trying to make a name for themselves, and it's yeah, well, the Bioshock Infinite people are currently jobless.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to think about is the people that made one of the most highly regarded games this past console generation don't have a job. Where the fuck do I sit now?
3 of the most highly regarded games of this past generation. You know what I mean? Fucking all 3 of the Bioshock games sold huge and did incredible. They were reviewed incredibly well. A lot of people don't like Bioshock 2, but it's okay. They're wrong. It's all right. But
completely unbiased testimony right here on the Hate Bit Podcast.
I don't know the whole fucking situation. It just seems like Ken Levine kind of he's a smart cat. And I think he sees the writing on the wall. He doesn't like AAA games as expensive as they are now. You think he's going to like it on the PS4 and Xbox One where we know game budgets are going to increase by 16 to 20%? It's just going to get worse from here. I think he knows. He's just fuck it, this is where I get off. I think that's part of it.
I mean, I like that, they want to concentrate on, something a little more grounded and not as explosively super huge and shit like that. But at the same point, I feel that this is also a big time dick move because it's the head honchos get to keep their job and the workhorses don't. And, that's one of the things I've seen so many fucking times. We've discussed that so many times, and including the whole, when is there going to be a video game crash? And it's where the have you been asleep?
Yeah, it's here.
And this is that example. It's we're currently dealing with that right now. There's, put put this as an example back in fucking like 97 or some shit. You know, say that team made this game and stuff like that. Would they be jobless? Fuck no. You'd be seeing 8,000 more Bioshock games.
Yep.
And the team increasing 7 fucking fold. And this, I don't know, it's kind of heartbreaking. As a matter of fact, to add on to this story, there was, I forget the name of the studio off the top of my head, but they said, you know, immediately, because this studio is in the same exact area as them. They were like, you know, if you need a job, you can come here, like, immediately. You don't even need to stay here if you want. It's just, we will take you for now. Because it helps to say, you know, we've got some of the Bioshock people on our team right now who might actually work on stuff. Even if one stays, that's still saying something.
Yeah.
But
It's
I
just
don't know.
it's crazy that a company with that kind of fucking you know, it really is. And Irrational, it's really sad for someone like me who is a big fan of like Looking Glass Studios. There was this whole culture in Boston where Irrational was based of just making these incredibly deep kind of simulation games. Bioshock was definitely a move away from that, and Ken Levine has acknowledged that. It was kind of the cash grab version of System Shock, basically. If you've ever played System Shock, Bioshock was essentially the extension of that. It was just with AAA budget and blah, blah, blah. It's kind of the death of that. It's kind of the last gasp of that. There was this whole gaming culture in Boston that centered around MIT primarily, where some people would get out of MIT, one of the most respected technological universities in the country and the world, and they would immediately get out and they would start working on games. So of course their games were brilliant. I mean, Origin Software, even though they were primarily centered in Texas, there was a lot of cross-pollination there. Wing Commander, Space Rogue, fucking System Shock, the entire Thief series, Deus Ex, right? All these incredible games. And it all kind of centers around this Boston gaming nexus. And the death of Irrational is sort of the death of that. So, like, to put it in greater context, you know, the one thing the fucking video game media doesn't do, that's what's really dying here. It's not just one company. It's sort of that. It's the last gasp of that entire philosophy.
And that's also one of the things that kind of worries me, is that you have a company who is making something that is breaking the traditional mold of, you know, a publisher saying, these are your marching orders, make this because it sells. You know, you have a studio who's making very original games. Like, I personally don't own Bioshock Infinite. I had downloaded it through PSN and was playing it, then it fucking expired, and I'm just like, shit, so I'm going to be going and getting the game because I want to finish it. But it just kind of fucks my head up to think that this will go away, but we're going to be stuck with, you know, the traditional fucking, I can't wait till the next Battlefield comes out, I can't wait for the next Call of Duty to come out, I can't wait for next Madden. We'll get, those motherfuckers keep their job, those fucking franchises get to go and live on, but we're not going to have this, and that fucking sucks.
Yeah, man, what does it say about the game industry where it's kind of like they're hanging a no MIT graduates need apply sign? Like, if you're in any industry, like car manufacturing, I don't give a fuck. If you're making computers and you're turning away MIT graduates, what does it say about how lobotomized your product is?
Oh, but hey,
Seriously.
you know what? It's okay, because let's get rid of all this creative shit and engrossing worlds and all these eccentric characters and shit, and actual, like, you know, memories that you'll hold on to for a long time with games like this that break the fucking mold, and let's play Flappy Bird. Because Flappy Bird fucking sells, and all it was a stolen property of a stolen property of a stolen property of a game that wasn't good.
Yep.
But and that's the thing. That's the right now. Like, if anybody wants to say what's wrong with gaming, that's what's expected nowadays, and that's what's selling, and that's what everybody's going to keep looking at. Like, I've taken the fucking piss out of Call of Duty more times than I can count on everybody's hands in my fucking neighborhood. But the thing is, Call of Duty is a goddamn fucking gem compared to most of the fucking bullshit you'll see on the mobile market. And I'm not talking about the people that work their ass off to make a genuine game. I'm talking about the people that make shit like Candy Crush and Flappy Bird, that it's a fucking cash grab and everybody's playing it, and that's what's expected now, the gaming market. And that's when eventually I'm going to fucking bail out, and I'm just going to play all the shit I already own forever until the end of time.
Yeah, we finally come to the point where buying a fucking video game console is like buying a Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, it costs a lot, but it's going to keep on costing you money too.
Yep.
I also feel like that I should be able to share one of Yellkaos's drinks now because I made myself sad.
I think.
Believe me, it makes it go away. Let me tell you.
Yeah. I think we've actually just dosed our entire fucking audience right now. So.
Hey, whatever, and then remind them that, Stone Brewing makes it go away.
Yeah, if you motherfuckers can't handle the bad news, you're not allowed to hear the good news. Plain and simple.
So are you asking them to go away?
If they can't handle bad news, yeah.
All right, all you motherfuckers go home.
Like, I've actually heard shit like that before. People are like, I don't want to hear about depressing news. And it's like, then you shouldn't be allowed to hear good news.
It's like, well, then apparently you have no idea what news is.
Like, you have to take the good with the bad, and then you have the facts of life. The facts of life.
Yeah, well, they're not new here, though. You're making it seem like they're inexperienced. Their anuses were prepared. They got their Vaseline. They're set. The people in the 8-bit audience, they're pros, and they know how to take it. If you can take a joke, you can take a dick, and they know all about that sort of thing.
And if you can take a dick, then you have to take our flaccid 18 inches combined together.
And that's part of it. And speaking of taking dicks, did you know that Microsoft has a console out called the Xbox One?
Is that
Did
true?
you hear about this?
I heard of it.
Yeah. Now, I understand it's supposed to play games. I don't know that it has any games available for it, but they're going to get around to it, and then they're going to throw a party, apparently. But also, it turns out that now they have something called the Xbox Live for the Xbox One, and apparently select Xbox One users will be getting a notice in their inbox that they have been specifically chosen to preview the March update patch.
Yep.
And now, if for those of you that are staring at your computers or your devices, bewildered as to why I'm mentioning this, because this is supposed to qualify as news.
Yep.
And
this qualifies as a feature now, apparently.
Yes, apparently so. So, I don't know. Razorfish, you can break this down better for me because...
Oh, select preferred premium users get access to a patch that could conceivably fix your broken fucking console.
Woo!
Who wouldn't want to jump on that?
That's
right?
Amazing. That's
there's a reason to get Xbox Live, right?
That's Western electronics companies.
That's like
right?
trying to go and tell your entire fan base that they should feel really good that they included a power cord.
Yeah.
And that's what fucks my head up is we're
No, it sounds like you should feel lucky that they included a graphics processing unit.
Like, hey, you're lucky. It powers on. You're welcome. The rest of you can wait till later. It's just like
on electricity, everyone else has to pedal theirs.
Just wait for the Xbox turn off DLC. Just wait. Just wait. It's coming.
It's just so fucking weird though that a patch is only given to select people. It's a fucking patch for a console. Everybody is.
The idea of a patch is a special event.
Yeah. Like, suddenly, it's just like, all right, brace yourselves, grab your fucking balls, and just get on board, because you, right there, all 10 of you, will get a patch. The rest of you, you're not getting shit.
This fucking machine you bought just might work if you're nice to us.
But here's the thing. What kind of message is that sending to the hundreds of thousands and millions of other people that didn't get it? That's the thing. It's like, shouldn't you be like, why did I get left out? I paid just as much as them.
I mean, eventually, obviously, it's going to roll out for the user base proper. But, the fact that you have to beta test a patch, does that not tell you that, number one, your console's rushed as shit?
Or that you don't know what a good product is or is not.
Yeah, exactly. It really shows that the company themselves have no QA at all.
I never
that has
thought
any
about
kind of
that.
perspective.
You actually bring up a good point. I wonder if they're just doing this as like, all right, we're only going to take a couple people because they're fucking guinea pigs. We don't know if this will break some shit, so we can minimize the damage.
Oh, that's totally what it is. That's absolutely what it is. It has to be. And both, goddamn. Dude, here's the thing. Other consoles in the past have been rushed. Other consoles in the past have been broken. But I think this, outside of the Nintendo Wii U, of course, this feels like the most rushed console generation in history. It feels like both consoles were not ready to be launched. I think Sony launched their console first. I don't even think they planned on releasing in the holiday of 2013. And then Xbox, they were caught with their pants down. I don't think they planned to launch the Xbox One until holiday of 2014. And now they're kind of just scrambling to catch up. That's what it's felt like from word go. And this moves like this that we're seeing out of both companies just scream that from the mountaintops, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, you got no... Look at what evidences it on the Xbox One is how broken the console is. What evidences it on the PS4 is the fact that they have no fucking games, right? Because if they had more of a plan, they'd have a lot more games out of the fucking game, but they don't.
Well, don't forget their plan. They actually thought they could snow job people with the concept of games you can play on your phone, but on your TV.
And then your fucking Xbox One, even the games that it does have feel rushed. I mean, has anybody who's played... I mean, people are enjoying Killer Instinct, but even people who have played it say... I guess. I've heard a lot of good things about it, but, like, even people who enjoy it are like, this feels rushed. This does not feel finished.
Well, it sounds to me like somebody's lying to themselves.
Well, you get that at the beginning of every fucking console generation, don't you?
But they're smoking the hopium and drinking the Jonestown Kool-Aid.
Oh, man. I honestly had people, when I was talking about the next-gen fucking just shit blizzard that's going around with it's the greatest selling consoles ever, blah, 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 blah. I actually had people, stone-faced, say to me, Killzone Shadowfall is an amazing game.
Huh?
I just about crapped in my hat. I couldn't believe it.
It's Call of Duty with color.
What's really strange about it is I was like kind of excited about it, and then I played it and I just kept on thinking I'd rather play 2 and 3, and that's the truth. Like it's kind of weird because I'm like 2 and 3, like I didn't like the first one at all. First one's fucking crap, and I don't give a shit. Everybody can be like, "Ooh, I can't jump over something that goes up to my shin."
I really can't. I can't get over the fact that we can't even continue to talk about the Xbox. We moved over to a PlayStation game. That's how fucking interesting the Xbox One is.
The Xbox One only has, besides Dead Rising 3, I just want that one game on it that's made by the dude who made Deadly Premonition. That's all it offers me right now. That's it. And
yeah, no. Well, hopefully somebody will send us an Xbox One for free, and then we can knock that out.
What's the matter, Alpha? You don't want to play your games in 800p?
Oh, dude,
Did you hear that, by the way? The fucking Thief 4 on the PlayStation 4 runs at 1080p, right? As it should. On the fucking Xbox One, it runs at 900p.
Yeah,
that's like Gen.
Was it like
now,
40
mind you, you probably wouldn't even notice the fucking difference. But still, what kind of funky resolution is that? And why does that not tell you that you guys fucked up horribly?
The thing that bothers me is, when did that become a resolution? Because on my computer, I've never found it.
Well, it's in there. It's called resolution minus connect.
It's called.
You're adjusting for connect. The connect is the curve that which you graded upon.
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, but I want to know why they think that it needs to be included, because it's fucking them. It's fucking them so hard. Like, it's draining juice out of the system that it fucking needs, and it's adding a price point that makes it harder for people to just jump right in, let alone debate between the PS4 and the Xbox One, which essentially are offering the same exact shit right now.
Yeah. And there's no debate right now. I don't understand why anyone would run out and grab an Xbox One right now. There's no selling point to this fucking system. They have shit all over themselves with the fucking Kinect, and it's entirely down to the goddamn Kinect. It costs $100 goddamn more because of this fucking useless piece of shit. It's included on the damn thing. And also, you wind up with developers who could otherwise be concentrating on making, good fucking games, instead concentrating on shoehorning Kinect exclusive features onto their fucking games.
Yeah,
like,
it's the most half-assed fucking just butchered things you've ever seen in your entire life. And you can tell that they were just told, all right, you got to add something. And of course they're not going to add in all the features because a whopping 0 people are going to fucking use them. So what does it even matter? Nobody's going to play test those Kinect features. Nobody's going to give a damn about them. So why even bother making them exceptionally good? Because it's a waste of time and effort.
Yeah, they're gonna. I can already see what Microsoft are gonna do here too. They're gonna take PlayStation's approach with the PS3. It's freaking hilarious. The companies have totally flip-flopped because nobody wanted to develop for the PS3 because they tacked that cell processor onto it, which was basically their version of the fucking Kinect, because it was a complete fucking boondoggle that didn't do anything that it promised it would do, and wound up costing more money out of the box as a result. What PS3 did, they locked companies into exclusive contracts, forced them to make exclusive software. That's what the Xbox One's going to be. It's going to have a bunch of exclusives. The PS4, they're gonna definitely try and match it because Sony seemed to be on the ball with that shit. But Xbox One's going to have a bunch of games, but no one's going to want to fucking play them because they're on the goddamn Xbox One. You know what I mean? They have totally flip-flopped. It's hilarious.
Well, and I think they've also got this idea that somehow people were going to buy it just because it had the Xbox name on it.
Well, no,
totally.
they fucking knew that way ahead of time. Even after the entire fucking avalanche of bad news straight from the mouths of the goddamn people in charge of the Xbox division at Microsoft, went on stage publicly in front of all their own peers, their shareholders, and their fucking entire fan base, and admitted to all of the bullshit that had been rumored for months that was going to kill the fucking system. And they said this everywhere all at the same time. And people were still like, I can't wait for that. I'm like, go fuck yourself inside out. You are a goddamn imbecile. You're a fucking buffoon, and the fact that you breathe confuses me.
Yeah, which, once again, it goes back to my idea that there has been like a partisan flip with Sony and Microsoft. Because that's the same thing they did with the PS3. They were just like, fuck it, it'll sell, it's called a PlayStation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Same fucking idea, and people fell for it a second fucking time. I cannot believe it. Like, it's just mind-blowing.
It harkens back to like the early 2000s when every automotive company thought they could throw out some overpowered sport utility vehicle and somebody would buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a bygone era. Similarly with video games.
Did you guys see they're actually patching the system to make the control work better?
Yeah.
Like the control.
Wait, what?
I'm dead serious. I was reading this about everybody was talking about Titanfall, and I was going through and I was reading some stuff. They're working with the people that are making Titanfall. They're going to have like an exclusive system or controller or something, and they're trying to patch the system so that the controllers work better. And I was not aware that the systems weren't working as well as they should. Like, this is something I've never heard. Like, I'm going to patch a controller. When the fuck did this become a thing?
I don't understand how that works. Like, isn't the point of making a game to manipulate the system? So now you have to manipulate the system to work with the game? That doesn't make any sense.
I just never heard that.
Are you emulating this game? No.
Like. Eric, Razorfist, tell me, why would you need to patch a fucking controller?
Because you rushed your fucking console to market to keep up with the goddamn Joneses. That's why. Fucking just the same reason that system has every fucking problem it has. Because they didn't want to launch their fucking console a year after the fucking PlayStation. And they were right to do that, mind you, because the only way the Xbox One was going to sell, being as big a festering sack of shit that it is, was if they launched it in conjunction, essentially, with the PS4. Because people would be too confused. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have a year to process just how shitty the Xbox One is compared to the PS4. That's basically...
No, the entire console launch, like, I still have people tell me that, what do you think is better to get? And I'm just like... You know what? I'm just going to tell you the same thing I've told people for years. Like, when I've worked at several game stores throughout my entire life. My first job was at a fucking game store. And when a console launches, I'm like, look at the games. Fuck the system. Just look at the games and tell me, do any of them suit your fancy? No? Okay. Then come back and look at it in a year, because that's exactly what you're going to see. And
exactly. And it's bad. I mean, it's really bad. It's both consoles. I mean, I'm saying here the PS4 is the better system to get. But I mean, even on the PS4, fuck, we just heard Order 1886 has been pushed back, might have even been pushed back to 2015. Fuck. I mean,
Will really fuck the system hard because that's actually like one of their big time exclusives.
yeah, it's like one of the only reasons people are buying the console. And now you're talking about not having that, essentially what is expected to be a killer app until what, Q1 of 20. I mean, that's another year and a half, guys. Like, shit. This is not.
Also, we can also bring up the whole thing of, man, that game is going to have to sell a whole bunch because game development costs like $8 trillion per second.
Well, and let's not also forget that the way they're trying, what's a big part of these budgets are also, as we've mentioned on this show a number of times before, is advertising. And I don't watch TV. I don't watch, cable TV or terrestrial TV on a regular basis, usually when I'm, visiting my parents or whatever. And I noticed that, because they have Dish Network and whatever, so my dad's flipping through the cable channels and whatever, and I'll see a video game advertisement that has no fucking mention of a video game whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'm of the mind that video games are a spectacle and should be able to sell themselves. Yet you showed me a car drive really fast and blow some dirt, and then it says Dead Rising 3, and then that was it.
No, totally.
Like, I don't know what I'm supposed. Is that a brand of milk? I don't know what I'm supposed to buy here.
It's totally. And you know what kind of fucked everything on that is Final Fantasy VII.
Oh Christ!
Yeah.
No, it's true because every game since Final Fantasy VII has been trying to advertise their games like Final Fantasy VII. I mean, you guys remember when that game came out?
Because I'm like, oh, what movie is this? Oh, wait a minute.
Yes. Me too. Yeah, no, I had the exact same reaction when I saw that.
Because it looked like the promo trailer for fucking Princess Mononoke. It looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa, they're coming out with another one. Oh, wait, that's a game? How do you like that?
Up, but it's sort of genius at the same time because their marketing worked.
That was a whole new wave of deception.
Yeah, but that was also, that was 1997, guys. I cannot believe that gaming media has not put together, or gaming advertising agencies or whatever, have not put together a much more competent way to advertise their fucking games in all this time. It's almost been 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, it also goes to show they don't care much for the concept of diminishing returns. Spinning it over. Wrestling promoters have figured this out. If you keep spinning the same shit over and over and over again, the audience gets up and leaves.
Yep.
I guess you haven't watched an episode of Raw in a while, then.
That's part of it too.
Well, we're all missing Elimination Chamber right now.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
No. Let me help you out. We're not missing anything.
Here, I'll tell everybody right now. Currently, my time is 9:38 p.m. I have no clue what's happening on Elimination Chamber, but I will tell you right now, Randy Orton will retain his fucking belt.
Randy Orton will retain his belt, and Triple H will fuck it up somehow.
Oh no, Triple H is going to put his nose, and there's so many jokes I can make there. He's going to put his nose into WrestleMania, and probably just his nose, because he doesn't need to show up otherwise. And he's going to wrestling fucking Daniel Bryan, and the Wyatts will probably run in and end up going and fucking it up for John Cena or something like that to set up a match between them since they're pushing them, or they're just going to stick with this whole the Shield versus the Wyatt. I have no fucking clue.
I just want to make it clear that Triple H could stick his nose into WrestleMania from Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah.
He could, and it would still have tons of shit right on the tip of it. And all of it would smell oddly like Vince McMahon. And oddly enough, kind of like Stephanie McMahon.
And interestingly enough, Vince McMahon smells a lot like Pat Patterson.
Oh.
And then the ring crew just goes and hides in the shadows and hopes that they had enough time.
They hide in the same hiding spot that Steve Lombardi does whenever there's trouble. I know all about that sort of thing.
Dumpster.
Yeah, but that, the Xbox One and Vince McMahon have a lot in common. They're technology, and they'll cost you a lot of money.
Yes, exactly.
For those of you wondering how
they'll spy on you when you sleep.
And that's part of it too.
And they don't treat everyone fairly.
Right, yes, and they'll blow out their quads anytime you ask them to.
That's only half.
and they're about to charge you for basic features. So
and that's part of it too. And so, So yeah, Microsoft, they're trying to kill it and they're not doing so well. But there was a gentleman that killed 77 people in Norway in 2011. His name was Anders Bering Breivik, and
I'm sorry, hold on. We have to stop and process that segue for a moment. What?
That wasn't a segue. That was a swerve. I learned that from Vince Russo.
Ow.
And also, I got Bell's palsy like Ed Ferrara did, and that way this works out. So somebody killed a whole bunch of people, and anyway, a mass murderer being held in Norway demands better video games in prison. Now, this I want everyone. In fact, raise your fist. You're right. Let's slow down. Let everyone process, because that's like 7 words that don't seem to go in the right order. Norway mass murder demands better video games. That's like, this is the 8-bit version of Mad Libs.
I know.
That really, like, how else could you get there? Now, raise your fist. You were very passionate about this story, so lay it out for the people who, and then we're gonna make a few. We'll make a few Mark Vikernes references. So go ahead, because you can lay it out better than I can.
Well, in yet another chapter in the long and storied history of hard-nosed Norwegian justice, this piece of shit who murdered a bunch of innocent women and children in the name of the fucking fatherland is demanding that because right now, guys, and I want you to understand and sympathize with his pain, he only has access to a PS2. He wants it upgraded to a PS3. Now, putting aside the fact that that's actually a bit of a downgrade, let's actually concentrate on the fact
No, you could use it to watch Toy Story.
Yes. Well, he can use it to watch the DVD of Toy Story.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, that's part of it too.
That's true.
Better on Blu-ray though.
But that's the fucking idea here. He's got access to a fucking PS2 in prison, guys. He's got access. He was able to type up this letter. He's got access to a fucking computer with a printer.
Why doesn't he play it on there then?
Now, don't start thinking Norway's gone soft on you just yet, though. Don't you dare entertain that thought, folks, because he is in the process. He is in the 18th month of serving a whopping 21-year sentence for 77 confirmed cases of capital murder.
Now, not to mention, this guy also claims to have used Call of Duty to practice his aim.
This guy, I think he might actually be confused. Maybe he doesn't have access to a PS2. Maybe it's just because he lives inside Grand Theft Auto, because that's the only way you could get out of prison that fucking quickly after killing 77 fucking people. What in the fuck?
So he comes from San Andreas, Norway.
The Norwegian justice system have their head so fucking far up their ass, they're going to have to cut in switchback trails to find the fucking thing. What in the hell is going on in Norway? I don't even... And then, of course, we already know about the whole fucking Varg Vikernes fucking
if not everybody, so lay it on the people, those the uninitiated. Tell them about Varg Vikernes.
Okay, so he killed a dude, and he planned to kill the dude. And this is after a rash of church burnings that he engaged in. And after planning
Back before most of you were born.
And after planning to blow up a motherfucking cathedral with dynamite, which they found in his home, by the way. Which, just incredible stuff. But anyways, so he goes to prison with another just whopping fucking 15-year sentence. And they wound up extending that to 20 or something because retroactive law or whatever the fuck. Mm-hmm. And so on one of his weekends off from prison, which is the thing, and
you should go the
prison vacation.
Like, that right there needs its own processing time, because it's like, so what are you doing this week? Oh, well, this weekend I'm gonna leave prison, go hang out with my friends, kill some people, go back to prison.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna dig this hole.
Yeah, no kidding. We do need some process. I think that requires like an Xbox One loading time to process that.
Or loading time on the wonderful 101.
Wait a minute, I think I can process that. Oh shit, I won't get that patch. That's
Well, did you get the notice?
No, I didn't, because I'm
not. Well, fuck you then. $500, please.
Yes. Brilliant. But yeah, so he's on one of his weekends off from prison. He hijacks the police vehicle that was escorting him. and then actually evades capture and gets away. They find him in his car with a trunk filled with like a ton of dynamite and a bunch of unregistered rifles and knives and guns and shit, and he was headed for the border of France where there are a bunch of white power militants and shit.
He also had swords with him because you can't be metal without dynamite and swords.
Dynamite and swords, bro. mind you, Lemmy does it in a pair of short shorts with a cigarette in his mouth, but whatever.
Well, don't forget, Lemmy also burns people with his mole.
It's true.
So you shouldn't leave that out. But yeah, this guy who killed 77 people in Norway in 2011, he demands better video games.
Just to go into some detail here. He's complaining because, and I'm about to quote him, "Other inmates have access to adult games while I only have the right to play less interesting kids' games. One example is Rayman Revolution, a game aimed at 3-year-olds.
Okay, wait. Why are you being Heimlich from A Bug's Life?
I don't know. Okay. Apparently he's German now. And
he's German. Okay, that's good.
He's an extremely effeminate German. But anyways, so fucking, he's pissed because he has to play Rayman Revolution on the PS2.
And that's not
this
fair.
Poor man.
You know what? I think we can reverse engineer this on him. I think we can make him play all the fucking shovelware on the PS2.
Yeah.
I think we can make that happen.
It's a great idea. We're going to make him play Barbie Super Sport.
Because, man, even if he's only behind bars for 21 years, it'll feel like 500. Fuck.
Yeah. In fact, you know what I'm wondering? I'm wondering if this guy has, like, do they have, like, email in prison? Because if that were could you think we get the entire 8-bit audience to send him, like, pictures of their dicks?
Or we could use a loophole. I got it. We could use a loophole. Okay, you can have the better games. In fact, you can have Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. But your prison term isn't up until the loading time finishes. He'll be in there for another 100 goddamn years, folks.
And that's how we'll get this motherfucker. Well, that's it. That was the 8-Bit Podcast that you've waited so long for. We thank you for joining us. Joining me as always, I'm Yellkaos if I didn't manage, but joining me as always, Alpha Omega Sin.
Fuck you very much, and I'm erect for all of you.
And Razor Fist.
It's been great. My nipples are hard. God fucking speed.
We love you, and fuck you. We'll see you next time, right here on the 8-Bit Podcast. Bye-bye, everybody.
Podcast.